Any of your average Bill Hicks fans that are also Sacred Cow fans would see you as kind of like a gun nut promoting the use of guns and trying to tell everybody that they need to arm themselves, where that goes against like one of the most basic philosophies that Bill preached. And so some people could see this incident and say, okay, this crazy guy watched a bunch of Alex Jones videos and he got himself all armed and pumped up and went and did this crazy thing. I mean, what do you have to say to those people?
Well, I'd say Mr. McCaslin was trained by the U.S. military. He was a Marine Special Forces officer, so I would frankly blame the government for this kill, kill, kill mindset. The founding fathers clearly stated, if you read the Federalist Papers, if anybody would just take the time to type Federalist Papers into a search engine or go to the library, that guns are here to defend us from the overwhelming force of government, of the Hitler, of the Stalin, of the Mao. And dictators throughout history, right back to Nero, have sought to disarm their quarry, to disarm their slaves. The first gun laws in this country were against black people. And Bill gets into this whole argument, and it's one put out by Handgun Control Incorporated and others who get $70 million a year from the big international banks publicly. But because there's a comma between well-regulated militia for the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Because there's some comma, there's some difference there. We'll go to the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, comma. And then comes, and the freedom of the press and assembly and free speech, petition the government. So does all that not count either? I mean, I don't understand this. The entire Bill of Rights is individual rights. Everything in there is about the individual.
Okay, what about
take the 10th Amendment? Well, I mean, I have to sit here and I know the Constitution. I know.
But what about where it says for a well-regulated militia?
Well, no, that's separate parts there. It's like the First Amendment. The First Amendment is saying you've got freedom of religion, you got freedom, comma, freedom of the press, comma, freedom of assembly, comma, freedom to petition the government for redress of grievances, comma. So there's like 4 or 5 things right there. And it's subgroupings. It's like, okay, what is the First Amendment? Well, it's freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of, assembly. It's all this, and there's commas. Okay? And then they go on to say in the Second Amendment, for the security of a free state, a well-regulated militia. Well, the well-regulated militia, you go to the definitions of the Federalist Papers, that is the people trained in the use of arms. The whole of the people, it's in the U.S. Code. It's men 17 to 54, just like they have in Switzerland with the lowest crime rate in the world today. But all that aside, say, oh, well, McCaslin did this. He ran off and did this. Number one, I never said there was human sacrifice going on there. I said it was mock human sacrifice. Even the local protesters, the Bohemian Grove Action Network, say in the newspaper it's mock human sacrifice. I've shot the video. People have looked at it. They admit it. Same thing's going on at Skull and Bones at Yale. That's been on Fox and ABC News. But, you shouldn't ban guns from the good people because fruitcakes, crazy people, evil folks go out and buy them. There's thousands of murders each year with baseball bats. Do we ban Louisville sluggers? People kill each other with knives all the time. Do we ban knives? We start restricting that from other people's homes, from their, from their silverware drawers? No, because there are bad people in the world. That means that the majority of good, decent people should be armed, should be trained to defend themselves. And that brings you a happy, a healthy, a strong society. And I ask people, why is the government massing all this power and centralizing power, and at the same time trying to demonize the people who are armed? So you have the people being disarmed and the government arming. Think about that. All throughout history, Hitler did the same thing. He arms himself and his stormtroopers while disarming the public and convincing them to be willing slaves. Remember, first gun control laws in this country against black people. Racism. Gun control is racist, bottom line. But people can't even figure that out, that an enslaved population is always disarmed. But I go back to it. The mere fact that there are people that dress up in plastic skull mask and Captain America outfits and go running into the woods waving their guns, who stopped them? It was the security guards. It was the police who were armed. Now there's some bad police in the world, but that doesn't mean that the others should be disarmed. It's the same argument for the people. It's a balance of power. It's a separation of powers. The whole Bill of Rights, the whole Constitution is about that. Why should I be able to trust the government with its black ski mask and its tanks and its armor and its prison systems, but then, the little people being armed, I shouldn't be able to? The mere fact that you are a good person out there means that you should be able to be armed to defend yourself. And believe me, if you haven't been a victim of violent crime yet, I pray you never have to become one, because that's when you'll go out and buy a gun. It's the same thing with box cutters. These guys hijack these planes with box cutters. Are we going to ban box cutters? And the media says, oh, we shouldn't arm the pilots, shouldn't do that. Oh, no, they can run a plane with 300, 400 switches. They can do all this, but we can't put an instant access pistol safe in the cockpit, so if somebody's ramming down the door, they can grab the gun and take them out. But, oh, it's hard to have trained professional air marshals doing it. What does that mean? Again, it's that message. The people can't defend themselves. The people don't have a right to defend themselves. Only our great government can. Only the men in the black uniforms, in the black ski mask, are authorized. It's a monopoly of force. It's dangerous to have the government with a monopoly of force. What did the UN say in July of 2001 when they were in New York calling for a complete ban of our guns? This is publicly, out there doing it. They said that civilian ownership of firearms in the United States threatens the legitimate power monopoly of the state. What an honest statement. Power monopoly of the state. Kevin, that's dictatorship. Power monopoly of the state. So I don't want a power monopoly of the state. I don't think that Adolf Hitler or Stalin should be able to have a power monopoly of the state. And that's basically it. Because there are people like McCaslin out there. We should all be armed to defend ourselves, bottom line.